Okay. Welcome to another Legacy Liftoff series class. As I wait for everyone to come in, if they can, they will. Um, just want to, I need to do a disclaimer. I'm going to try to start doing disclaimers all through my platform, simply because I think it's important. You guys, all the music that you hear on here, that's got the Rude and Rising Morning Show. Okay, I need to change my. Let me go back in here and change my what's the name? There we go. I need to change that. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Had to change that. So I wanted to let you guys know that any type of music that you hear on here, on this radio, see, on this show is my music, okay? So I am not copyrighting anybody else's stuff. This is definitely our music. Because if you can create something, create it and make it work for you. So I don't have to use anybody else's music. Don't have to do that anymore. So I wanted to let you guys know that. It is Saturday already, and we're on chapter 9. This one is going to hit well today because earlier today on our Rooted and Rising radio show that we did, we actually talked about not emotional intelligence, but we talked about the difference between survival relationship and a regular relationship, and how do we navigate through that. So this talking about personal relationship tonight is going to be very, very, very interesting for us. Um, so while I wait for everyone to come in, um, and if they can't, that's fine. I do understand it's the day after Juneteenth, and I hope you guys enjoyed your Juneteenth holiday. And I know people could be busy doing other things, and that's fine. But I still have to do a show regardless. I still have to do this series. I have to definitely do this series. And so I'm going to go ahead before we get started. Maybe I'll play you a little bit of music, just a little bit. It don't be not too much. Let's play this one.
You said I've been waiting. I said for who? Your eyes skip straight to future tense. Mine stay glued to this room. You mapped out our mornings. I was counting the times. You packed a bag in your voice. I just nodded and smiled. You said yes, but I never asked in the first place. You built a door in a wall I never meant to break. You heard vows in the silence where my doubts stayed. You said yes to a question I was too scared to say. You kept circling baby names. I kept circling words to leave. You called it meant to be. I called it hard to breathe. You rehearsed our anniversaries. I rehearsed my alibis. You wore the whole forever. I just tried it on for size. You said yes, but I never asked in the first was too scared to say. Did I lead you on, or did you lead yourself? Were my half words a promise, or just you filling the shells? Oh, if I whisper I'm not ready, will it tear your world in two? Or was it always made of glass, waiting for the truth? You said yes, but I never asked in the first place. You wrote our names in a space I never meant to take. You heard stay in the quiet where my doubts say. You say yes, and I'm finally saying what I couldn't say.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Um, I was just playing a little bit of music just before you guys came in. I do. I said just let me. I can be I can be patient. I don't have a problem with your patience because I know you guys were busy. And I said even if you guys didn't show up, I'm still gonna do it. You can go ahead and go back and watch it again. So good evening, everyone here on the Legacy Liftoff series that we have been doing for a minute. Um, I last Wednesday was that Wednesday? Yeah, today's Saturday. Wednesday we had a great class, and then we turned around and had some conversation about the class. And I'm very I think it's very important to understand or make sure that we're just not doing this just to be doing it, which is great if we are, but I want to make sure there's benefits in what we're doing here. I've learned a lot from you guys since we started this, and I don't take that for granted. Um, and what's so I think kind of unique about our community, because it's community, is the idea that not only do we do this show, we do other shows together. So there's many facets that you guys are, excuse me, privy to when it comes to me as me being the coach, and then as me being all the other hats I wear. You guys get to see that, and to me that's important. Um, to a certain extent, because I don't want you guys to get this impression about me that everything I do is straight and I'm good and I'm, like some of these people who are on television, these coaches and stuff, like their lives are so perfect, and when they come out in front of everybody, you see all this greatness going on. I don't want that. That's never going to be who I am. I want you guys to see when I'm angry. I want you guys to know that I'm just like everybody else, because I cannot help you guys if I'm not helping myself. Some people just do it because they have an ulterior motive in doing this type of work. I don't. I want to learn in the process too as we go through this process. And like I said before, I've learned a lot from you guys because to me it's so important to, I don't know why I'm obsessed with black women and empowering them, getting them to the point where, because I guess because I've dealt with so many of them where they didn't feel like they're, that they weren't there on that level that they wanted to be on. And so I think that's mainly why I keep doing this, even when I get frustrated and don't want to do it. Um, there's a need for it because I think everybody deserves a space. Everybody deserves a platform. Everybody deserves to feel a certain way that they want to without feeling like they're bothering somebody else. And I don't want you guys to do that. I want you to be empowered to stand up on your own podium, on your own platform, and speak who you are. And don't be afraid and don't be ashamed of it. And don't feel like you don't deserve it, that you're not worthy of it. And I think that's why, because again, that expresses me too, how I thought I was never worthy of a lot of things. I wasn't deserving of things, of love and all that. So I think that's the reason why this is a, I don't want to, I don't think we're trauma bonding here. I promise. I hope we're not trauma bonding, being able to be in the same spot because of all the experiences we've had. But I think we all are learning from them, and then the healing comes in place. And I think this is a great platform for that. With doing all the work that I do when it comes to, and like I said before, Miss Bell, I'm like this. If there's a message that needs to be given, I'm going to give that message, whether it's just me in the camera or not. I'm going to give the message because it needs to be given. And somebody down the line eventually will hear that. And they'll send me a message saying, I saw your video, and they'll ask me certain questions and I answer them. But it's like out the blue. It don't always be all the time. I don't have a random full of, inbox information or questions. It's just every now and then I saw your video because I don't care how long ago it was. It's ideal that I put it out. The information is out there. So when a lot of subject matters that people talk about, I'm like, oh, we talked about that already. I can say that because we really have talked, already had that conversation, and we've learned from those conversations. I'm hoping. So that's why I keep doing this, regardless. So chapter 9. You ready for chapter 9? What
Yes, ma'am.
8? I hope I didn't overtalk you. I just need to get that out. Let me
No.
tell you something. I'm weird like that. If it's something on my mind, I got to get it out. I got
Oh,
to get it
that's okay.
out. Okay, so chapter 8 and chapter 7 were pretty good. Applying emotional intelligence in the workplace, resilience in the face of challenges. We did all that. This one is going to be juicy because this one is talking about emotional intelligence in personal relationships. This
Hmm.
one's going to be a doozy, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get you to start the impact of emotional intelligence on romantic relationships. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in shaping romantic relationships by enabling individuals to understand and manage their emotions as well as those of their partners. This understanding fosters deeper connections and enhances communication, which are essential components of any successful relationship. When partners can actually perceive emotional cues and respond appropriately, they are more likely to navigate conflicts and challenges effectively.
Mhm.
Thus, emotional intelligence not only strengthens the bond between partners, but also contributes to a healthier relationship dynamic.
Mhm.
One of the key aspects of emotional intelligence is self awareness, which allows individuals to recognize their own emotional states.
Wait. Where you at?
I'm on the second paragraph under the impact of emotional intelligence on romantic relationships.
Okay. So where'd you read that at? When partners can act. Okay. A healthier relationship dynamic. What's the next thing? More is it? Moreover, emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in navigating conflicts.
No, I have after the healthier relationship dynamic,
Hold up.
what I
I'm not-
have is One of the key aspects of emotional intelligence is self awareness.
Okay, hold up. Let me see where I'm at. On paper, I might be in a different spot. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I'm in the
Okay.
wrong spot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. One of the key aspects of emotional intelligence is self awareness, which allows individuals to recognize their own emotional states and how these affect their interactions with others. In romantic relationships, being self aware helps partners to communicate their feelings openly and honestly. This transparency reduces misunderstandings and builds trust, which is crucial for long term intimacy. As partners become more attuned to their own emotions, they can articulate their needs and desires more clearly, leading to a more fulfilling relationship. Furthermore, emotional intelligence promotes empathy, allowing partners to understand and share the feelings of one another. This empathetic connection is vital in romantic relationships as it fosters compassion and support during difficult times. When one partner is feeling vulnerable or stressed, the other can respond with kindness and understanding, strengthening their emotional bond. Empathy also encourages partners to celebrate each other's successes, creating a positive feedback loop that reinforces their connection and mutual respect. Conflict resolution is another area where emotional intelligence shines in romantic relationships. Couples with high emotional intelligence are better equipped to handle disagreements constructively. They are more inclined to approach conflict with a calm and open mindset, focusing on solutions rather than blame. By utilizing their emotional intelligence, partners can express their feelings without escalating tensions, ensuring that conflicts lead to growth rather than resentment. This ability to navigate disputes effectively ultimately leads to a greater relationship, satisfaction, and resilience. Finally, cultivating emotional intelligence within a romantic relationship requires continuous effort and practice. Engaging in mindfulness and meditation practice can significantly enhance one's emotional awareness and regulation skills. By dedicating time to reflect on emotions and responses, partners can develop a deeper understanding of themselves and each other. As both individuals in a relationship grow their emotional intelligence, they create a nurturing environment that supports love, respect, and harmony, ensuring the relationship strives even in the face of challenges.
Okay. So this sounds like this could be the ideal partner, right?
Right,
That's the only
right,
thing that came through my mind while you were reading this was okay. If this was the ideal perfect partner, and as we know this is the book side of things. This is not the reality of things, right? Or the reality of a relationship. We know that most of the time in most relationships, two broken people come together to try to make it to try to make the relationship um trying to make a relationship work, right? So this coming together. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. They're all going to be like that size. Okay, because they're small. Yeah, they're rose bushes. It's got a lot of them on them. Okay, okay. And they're gonna throw the butt. Thank you, sir. You're so sweet. You should see what he's doing. Oh, bye. I'm on air. He didn't even know it. Bye. I'm glad you couldn't see what he did. Bye, knucklehead. But it would be so perfect if that was the thing that two perfect people come together. They're intelligent, they know how emotions work, and oh, baby, this, and oh, baby, that. And we know that's not the reality of relationships.
true.
So we have to grow into these different concepts in order to make the relationship work, right?
Right,
Um, and when, like you said earlier, the key aspect of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. First of all, we have to see what we're doing, because you know what, we love pointing out everybody else's shortcomings. We, oh my God, we love, see, because as long as the camera is not on you, or the mirror is not in your face, oh no, you can point all over the place. You can say this person did this. But when the camera or the mirror is in your face, you can't. Oh no. Mm-mm, no, indeed. How dare you say, I can't believe you think I'm doing that. I can't believe you say I say those things to you. We'll say that in a heartbeat. Because again, we're in denial of ourselves. So that's why self awareness is so important. Be aware of how you talk to people, how you treat the people in your life, especially like we said in romantic relationships. And sometimes, being a people pleaser, we are people pleasers, we'll put up with a lot of crap and not realize we're putting up with a lot of crap from somebody. And all that other stuff goes out the door. All that, okay, I'm trying, but it's like, it's getting there where I'm going to have to go, oh, I'm going to try not to. And not understanding how emotional intelligence comes into play to make sure that, okay, this person I'm with, they have flaws. I have flaws. So how do we work this out?
Right.
How do we pay attention to what's going on in the relationship? And what do we say that's not correct in the relationship? And what is making all of these, I don't want to say the word, what is all this trouble rumbling for? Where did all this come from? How do you recognize that if you're in an emotional intelligent relationship? How do you recognize that? I'm not take You're looking into your relationship from the outside. How can you tell that you're in a emotional intelligent relationship?
Base when there's no communication, we're not letting each other know how we feel.
Okay, so that's a lack of emotional. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying the communication. What else you find?
Um, I would
Are you
also say
are you
the
nonverbal and verbal communication?
yes,
Okay, gotcha.
yes, that and the partner or both partners that not being appreciative of one another
Okay, okay,
are my two main things.
okay, okay, okay. So let me ask you this. So if you know that, how do you resolve that?
To be honest with you, personally, that was a problem for me in my
Okay, okay,
in my marriage
okay. The
because
lack of communication.
yeah, because I didn't see that much when growing up with my mom and dad. I saw a lot
Okay,
of other stuff.
okay,
So I just kind of sort of brought that into my relationship. And I also, saw things on my ex husband's side as well, which probably affected him too. So
hmm.
um, it was just a lot of stuff that I really don't like to talk about.
You ain't got to. You don't have to. You don't have to share that. I'm not your therapist. I'm just. You
But
don't
I,
have to
I
share.
I did. I saw, if you hear some noise, that's me running water.
That's all right.
Um, I just saw a lot of stuff, and it just wasn't the communication
Hmm.
and showing each other um, affection. Put,
Gotcha,
put
gotcha.
it like that. Yeah,
Lack of affection.
yeah.
Um, um, and people don't understand. And see, this is why it's so important Now, did you find yourself voicing that?
Not really, because
Lack of communication.
yes, and then I don't know if this is the right word, trying to be submissive or whatever.
Okay, gotcha.
I just didn't show it, but when things got really bad, I mean, it was a
Mhm.
lot of argument and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because there's
So,
that communication literally had broken down. When the
yeah,
arguments start, is because the communication has really truly broken down.
right,
There's nothing to say but to argue. Yeah,
right,
yeah. That's the crazy part about it. Um, I guess that submissive stuff never was ever gonna work with me.
oh, it don't work with me now, trust me.
It never had. It's never been. I never. I told you. I think I told you guys that. I've never been a person to. I want to be in a relationship where we can do this together, like a job. We're
Right,
working on a team. I never had the instinct of being in no. I'm gonna be in no kitchen cooking and cleaning and caring and taking care. I wasn't built that way. And my mom, even though my mom, I had two stepfathers, but I still never took on the ideal that I would be that type of wife. Mm-mm. If I just no, and once that would have came into the marriage, I was out. I would have been because I don't like, and I think too. You're right. When your past has a lot to do with, and it's not that you want to bring all that into the marriage. It's just a natural reaction to things that you've already experienced.
right,
So my natural reaction with me being military and all that, somebody actually trying to control me, and when I'm all no, no, because I had enough of that. Because in the military you're controlled. You're told when to eat, sleep, go on vacation. You're controlled. So when you get out of that atmosphere, other people, after a while, because it took me a while to get out of that atmosphere where someone's telling me what to do all the time. But as far as when it came to relationships, the submissive stuff, after a while, mm-mm. And I knew if I married somebody, if he was going to be that way, I wouldn't have stayed married
right,
at all because I didn't want that life. I like freedom. I like too much freedom. And I'm saying that not to say I have an open marriage. I mean, free to let me dream, free to let me heal, free to let me do what I want to do
right,
without you saying I can't do it because I don't believe in the word can't. I just don't go with the word can't in most situations unless it's me saying it to myself. But I don't believe other people can tell me what I can and cannot do. And I have an issue because its underlying issue of that is some stuff that happened when I was in the military. So my attitude toward a lot of things have changed. So I already knew with the marriage, none of that was going to happen. I'm not going for nobody telling me what I could do. And I don't knock anybody who were those type of wives because they didn't know any better. They were taught that.
right,
That was indoctrinated into them to be that type of wife. Regardless of all that he's putting you through, you still was that type of wife because that's what mom and grandma and aunties, you saw them all live that same lifestyle. They saw their husbands having whole families on the outside. They saw the abuse, but they stayed there and they kept doing. They kept raising the children and they kept making sure the meals on the table. They kept doing all the things that they were taught to do. In reality, she was never ever to be free in a sense where she would enjoy. And then when he passes away, that's when her freedom comes in. But shoot, she don't know what to do with it because she's been
true,
trained. You
right.
know,
That's true.
when he's gone, she's and the kids are gone. She don't know what to do with herself. So a lot of times women just like give up because
Mm-hmm.
all their dreams, all their aspirations, all the things they wanted to do, all of that was tied into him. And so she never lives. As a matter of fact, on my today morning show I did, this one of the things we talked about was the ideal of how we lose ourselves in our relationships with the people that we have in our lives and how we become this small person, and then at the end of the day when everything's over with, where did I go? Where am I? Where's all the things that I wanted to do? It's too late. I don't want to say it's too late. It's just older in years, and things have changed so much, but you've got yourself so caught up in that person that you forget, you know. And another question that I talked about today was survival relationships. Are we in relationships for love, or are we in relationships to survive? Because a lot of people are in survival relationships. They're not really in a love relationship because they can't do on their own. One thing, they're afraid of what the family may say or do. They're afraid of being isolated. They're afraid of not being able to love again and all that. I said this. The only part that I had an issue with the whole scenario is worried about whether or not you can be loved again. That right there shouldn't even be on your mind right now. If you're trying to get out of a situation that you're not happy in, whether you ever be loved again is really not a point at that moment. I'm saying later on down the line, maybe it should be, but not at the beginning, because you're just trying to, because that's what we do. We naturally jump from one relationship into another, jump from one relationship into another, jump from one relationship, and it goes on and on. And then you're sitting around, I can never find nobody. I can never get with nobody. There's nobody out there for me. Well, you don't give yourself chance, and you don't give yourself chance to heal from the mess that you already was in before you go jump into some more mess. And then what you're doing is you're bringing that new person into your chaos.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. And we
Right.
do it all the time, you know. It's not, and I think too what I said earlier about the ideal that you want to be loved. You going from this relationship where you've been with this person for long periods of times, you know it was coming that you guys were going to go your own way, and you literally do it, and then you're jumping into something else. Lots of that is because I want to make sure people know I want to be loved, and I'm not out here by myself, and I don't care what nobody say. I might not be with somebody because we can't handle rejection. It's a shameful thing to be rejected. You know that already. That's most of the time what people feel, but you have to get beyond that. If you're trying to heal yourself, all that other stuff don't matter. And I guess that's just me. It don't matter,
No,
because at the end
that's
of the day,
true. That is true.
you should be worried about how you're going to do it, because you're bringing all your mess and your chaos into a new relationship, and nobody should be dealt with that craziness coming
E-
from you, because
e-
it's you,
Exactly.
you know. And so we have to figure out when we, and it's too late. Everybody's in these relationships, they've been in them for long times, periods of times, and you know, that's why, like right now, a lot of women just like, you know what, I enjoy being by myself. I don't want the drama, because you're dealing with a lot of broken men, and it's vice versa, because women do the same thing to men. um you're dealing with a lot of broken men and women trying to make something work with no emotional intelligence in the midst.
Exactly.
Conflict resolution is not in the midst. We don't even want to talk about that. We can talk about how bad everybody is, right? Oh, she's a bad person. She lies. She does this. She does, and he's this. He cheated. Uh, you can talk all about that, but nobody's saying, okay, how can we fix this?
Right.
Are we? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I have said, hey, I'd rather be by myself. I have
Mm-hmm.
said that a many times. So, I enjoy my peace.
Yeah, I do. I get that 100%. I've been there. I know. My thing is, I have this innate, how do I want to say that? Way, if I'm not a person to give up so easily on a lot of things. I just don't. I should on certain things in my life, but I don't, because I can see, I don't want to say I see the future, but I can see the betterment in certain things.
Hmm.
So I'm the type person where I'll stick in there on the situation because I know it's going to get better. And I've seen the results of it getting better. So I'm not that quick person to get say, you know what, I'm done.
Right.
If I have to do that, I'll do that. I don't have a problem with doing that. I will dump it in a heartbeat.
And
And at
see,
the same,
that
go
that
ahead.
is me because I've been married twice,
Yes. Okay.
and the second marriage was like, okay, I'm doing all this by myself.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, so I asked for a divorce because what I need you when I'm doing it all by myself,
If I'm doing everything, yeah. Yeah.
everything. So that's how the second one ended. But the first one was my high school sweetheart. We had been together since junior high,
Hmm.
and it was just, I don't know, for some reason my dad didn't like him, but my mom did.
Uh-huh.
And it just went left.
Uh-huh. It's like,
So
okay, this is gonna work.
yeah, so like I said, I have made that statement that, hey, I rather have my peace than to deal with all the stuff that I dealt with both marriages, really.
Hmm. And I think lots of times we get married for other reasons than love. Can I say that?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of marriages are built on trying to please other people on the outside. And I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but that's how it turns out. Because you start watching that, you're like, okay, did I should I've done this, or should have stayed single? Now, your second marriage is a difference because your first marriage was the high school sweetheart situation. The
Right.
second marriage was a little bit different for you. Um, I don't know how you felt when you went into the marriage. We do think love is everything. We get love and we get survival mixed up. That was one of the things we talked about because love innates a whole different embodiment of what it means to be in love with someone and being in that relationship, opposed to I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And
Right.
there's the difference. And um, if you never, if and then sometimes people get married because they're tired of doing it by themselves. So would
Well,
you love?
the first one,
Uh,
I was ready to get out of my mama's house.
yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
That was the
Gotcha.
first one.
Yes.
And the
Okay.
second
So love
one,
was. So that
I was
tells you right there, love wasn't even involved in that, right?
no, love was, because I mean we were
You were
deeply in
sweethearts.
love, but I
Okay.
was just ready to get out of my mom's house.
Okay.
And the second one, I would say, hey, it was survival,
Okay.
because at the time
Okay.
I had no job or
Okay.
whatever, and he
Gotcha.
had a very good job and stuff like that. So I would say the second one was survival. Eventually, a little love came, but
It wasn't the
after,
first thing.
huh?
You say it wasn't the first thing. It wasn't the first thing on the list.
No, it was not. It was survival.
And you know what, Miss Bell, I love that you said that because that was the most honest answer to that. Because some women will not, they will stay in denial that they're in a relationship because of survival. They will deny that because it's like it's hard to say that. It's
Right.
hard to say, well, I just married him, because I needed a place to stay, I needed money, I needed this, because those are the reasons. And you said that, and it's right on point for what we were talking about this morning. Survival is financial stability. When you're in a survival relationship, financial stability, even though it's lacking all the other things that needs to be in there, you were able to stay in it because you knew why you were there. Some
Right.
women are in denial of why they're in these relationships.
Right.
And that's the scary part about why we waste so much of our time. We waste so much of our time. Now, you could have made a different decision. You didn't. You knew what you needed and you went for that. But some women, and it was talking about the ideal that for years, it's not just a couple of years that you're in that, you're in it for years, right?
Mhm. Yes,
And
ma'am.
And you realize, like, damn, what the hell did I do? How did I not fix this? Right? And it's like, why the hell didn't I leave when I had an opportunity to leave? You know? But you thought about it. You like, I don't have the money. And this is why I say all the time, this is my biggest thing when it comes to relationships. I don't care if he is a zillionaire. Always have your own money.
Yep.
Always have your own bank account. Like, oh my God, you have your own bank account? Yes. You have to have your own bank account. Well, my
That's
money goes with my husband, and he sees where my money go, and I see where his money go, and we're not trying to hide anything. No, that is not the point of having your own account.
exactly.
Okay? That's not the point. It's a sense of free. See, when we get into these relationships, like you said earlier, the submissive, and you find yourself buried in this person, right? You're gone. Okay. This is not even about you anymore. This is about that person you're with. So you're buried within that person. So there's no separation in anything that you do or say or how you live your life because you're always into this person. So, what a better way to have some type of freedom than have your financial freedom? And that's you having your own account. Because one thing men will do when they get mad and you talking about leaving them, they will freeze counts.
Exactly.
Go right to the bank and pull your name off an account in a heartbeat without
Yes.
a second thought to punish you because that's called financial abuse.
Yep, that's true.
So you need your own money. You need to always have your own money and always understand that if you don't have your own, you're going to be forever in debt or you're going to be forever having to find yourself in this person forever. You'll never get rid of it. So and that's why I am a big advocate of women having their own situation going on. So I want to say something else when we talk about survival relationships. Um, we have to keep in mind that women were taught these things. They were taught relationships equals security, being chosen equals worth, staying equals loyalty, and sacrifice equals love, which is crazy concept, but that's what we were taught. We were taught that we're supposed to be the person to need all these things. They're not needing those things. You are. And we have to keep in mind when it comes to a love relationship, he chooses you. When it comes to survival relationship, you choose him. Like you said the perfect thing of what we were talking about this morning.
Right.
Because you chose him like, hold up, let me hold up. Let me see what I gotta do. Let me see what I gotta do.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
I know what I need, you know. Um, and sometimes and when I say fear in this, when we talk about this, fear is not saying that you are afraid of him. Fear is it becomes a decision maker, and the decision maker for you was the idea that you were surviving. You needed to be in a place where you said you didn't have a job. You needed to have that stability there. So it says people stay because they're afraid of being alone, afraid of losing financial security, which we talked about, afraid of disappointing family, afraid of starting over, afraid of nobody else loving them, which I said was not prevalent right then. That was not important. Afraid they won't survive the loss. That's not important. And that's how fear is powerful. That's how it works into a survival relationship because it's sitting there and saying, and it's showing you all these things, the reason why you need to stay in this relationship. And it's like it's playing over and over again in your head on why you need to stay in this relationship. And believe it or not only just an everyday Jane or Joe stays in a relationship, we're talking about intelligent, capable, strong people who are in relationships right now, just like that. Like, even if they fall out of love, instead of leaving and going their own separate ways and living their own lives, they stay together because
Right.
financially, according to them, they can't afford to live separate. And I think that's the most dangerous position to ever be in when it comes to relationships. Because just because he wasn't violent when y'all were in the relationship, don't mean when things are not working out and you decide to split, but he can't go nowhere and you can't go nowhere, that he won't get angry and be disappointed in that situation. Because that's the first thing a man does. He takes his anger and his indecisiveness in his life out on you. Why? Because you're there. And because you have been that backbone all this time to him. And how dare you say you no longer want to be the backbone? That's when the violence can start. And that's why I don't really believe in men and women staying together after they've decided to not to be together, regardless. And I know that's crazy for me to say that, in a sense of, not that she should have chose better or he should have chose better when it comes to jobs in
Mm-hmm.
situations. Because if you had a decent job, you would be able to live out on your own. You wouldn't even have to come and stay at the house. But we know also, people look at it like, we bought this house together. This is our house, and I'm not moving out. You know, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And all that does is build up. And I'm not saying everybody happens in all relationships, because there are some people who are better off as friends and they raising their kids as friends opposed to husband and wife. That was a decision they made on their own. But the other one, you're not emotionally intelligent. Those type of relationships don't always work out. Somebody either going to wind up getting hurt, or somebody who needs to eventually leave, they're not going to leave silently. Okay. And that's the crazy part about it. And I didn't want to get off the whole conversation we were having or the class itself, but that's something we need to really look into when we talk about emotional intelligence and how important it is. It plays in every aspect of our relationship, especially now that we're talking in our personal relationships. So, um, so we learned a lot in the last few minutes, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
We learned a lot, right? Whew. Okay, so I'm gonna do the next side. Parenting with emotional intelligence. Parenting with emotional intelligence is an essential aspect of nurturing well-rounded children. By understanding and managing their own emotions, parents can create a supportive environment that fosters emotional growth in their children. This practice involves recognizing feelings both in oneself and in others and responding appropriately. When parents model emotional intelligence, they equip their children with the skills needed to navigate life's challenges effectively. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in parenting with emotional intelligence by being present and attuned to their children's needs. Parents can better respond to emotional cues. This attentive approach allows for more meaningful interaction, helping children feel understood and valued. Practicing mindfulness also enables parents to remain calm and composed, even during stressful moments, thereby setting a positive example for their children. Empathy is another vital component of emotional intelligence in parenting. Understanding a child's perspective can significantly enhance a parent child relationship. When parents validate their children's feelings, it fosters a sense of security and trust. This connection encourages open communication, allowing children to express themselves without fear of judgment. And as a result, they develop healthy coping mechanisms and emotional resilience over time. Moreover, teaching children about emotional regulation is paramount. Excuse me. Parents should help their children identify their emotions and explore healthy ways to manage them. This skill is crucial in today's fast paced world where emotional challenges can arise unexpectedly. By guiding children through techniques such as deep breathing, journaling, or talking about their feelings, parents empower them to take control of their emotional response. So, in conclusion, parenting with emotional intelligence not only benefits the parent child dynamic, but it also lays the foundation for a child's future emotional well being. It is a continuous journey of self awareness, empathy, and mindful interaction. By embracing these principles, parents can nurture emotionally intelligent individuals who are equipped to build healthy relationships and thrive in their personal and professional lives. So, friendships and emotional awareness. Okay, before we go there, I want to talk about the parent child dynamic when it comes to emotional intelligence. I know when I was a child, I don't know if you can relate to this, we didn't have none of no emotional intelligence.
I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. Ass whooping is an ass whooping. If I say
Exactly.
something, don't you tie your face up. Don't you go in there and shut that door. I don't. What's wrong with you? You really don't. They don't really want to know what's wrong with you. They just want to see what the reason why they're gonna beat you for it the next time. So, what's wrong with you? Get over there and sit down before you even get it out. Get over there and sit down. If you don't go sit down, I'm gonna tear your ass up. That's what I mean. That's what I know. I don't
Yep.
know.
Uh,
You know.
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
I
Everything you saying, yes, ma'am.
I know as I got older and into adulthood, and I could sit down and have those conversations with my mom. But as a child, no, you didn't have. No, no, no. You were not allowed to be upset if she said something. You better do it and keep moving. Ain't no pouting and nobody getting mad because if you pouted, you're gonna get your tail tore up. So
Right.
it was none of that. And I think they were raised that way too. They were not allowed to express their feelings and find out why they're disappointed or why they're upset about stuff. But you do learn that when you get to your kids. Well, you're supposed to. I don't think I did. I think I did Tavares the same way my mom did me. I think I
I
did.
I did
I,
both my kids the same way too.
yep, yep. I don't want to hear all that. Go sit down somewhere. Didn't I tell you go sit down? If you don't go sit down, I'm gonna whoop your. And that was that's how they handled everything. I'm gonna whoop your. Everything was violent. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But you know what? I kind of get offended when we say that was violent because I think I don't know. I just feel different when it comes to the way we disciplined our kids. I feel like they deserved it.
I wouldn't
And that's
say it's
not,
violent either.
but you know, that's what they say. They say
Yeah.
because people with belts and central cords and shoes and dustpans and frying pans. That was violence. That was abuse. But I don't know.
But we
Because
lived, we
yeah,
survived.
we survived it. There we go with the survivor. There we go. So look why we're so warped. It's because we survived those ass whoopings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did both my kids like that, and for when they got grown to
Uh-huh.
relate it back to me, I was just hurt and I had to apologize, and they understood that I was just trying to survive with just
Yes.
me and them with no male in the picture.
Yes.
Um my daughter and I talked about it, my son and I talked about it as well, but
Mm-hmm.
I just had to do what I had to do or what I
Mm-hmm.
knew to do.
Yeah. That's what it's more. It's not what you had to do, it's what you knew. It's your
Yeah,
the familiar ways that you were raised. You were familiar with that. So
right.
that's what you did. And with me, it was that, and it also was the ideal that I was so bent on just wanting him to be able to I was more concerned about being able to raise him and making sure he had food, shelter, the whole 9 yards, because we went through a time in our lives where we didn't have those things. It was
Right.
just me and him. I didn't have anybody to go to or talk to or whatever. And we did wind up homeless. So I know that feeling, and I after that happened, I there was something in me that I said that will never ever happen again in our whole entire life. This will never happen to us again. And I meant it. And no matter how many times I went through whatever I went through, just trying to survive, I never ever made sure that we would never be homeless again. And I think that's what was more of a thing for me than it was worrying about whether or not I'm raising him right. I didn't have to too much worry about him too much. He did some things, but it wasn't like It wasn't where I had to go to school all the time, get him, he wasn't that kind of kid. He was a mischievous kid more. And I think a lot of it too was him trying to get my attention because I
Mm,
worked all the time and you being a mother, you have no other choice. And
right.
even when I did try to date somebody, I
Oh,
don't think
I
it
know
was
that. I know that feeling because to this day, my son, the guy that I dated, he cannot stand him.
random.
He cannot stand him.
You trying to do all the right things and you think they're the right things, but man, I mean, it was, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whew. And it's not really about having to have somebody. To me, having somebody was really, it was just, it wasn't like I needed to have somebody in my life because I really wasn't, I don't know how to say it. And I'm sharing this because I think it's good experience to kind of get this out. I don't even know what it was, but it really wasn't that I had to be with somebody. It's like he could be in my life or he don't. Either
Right.
way it goes. It wasn't like I went to pursue. I didn't go out a lot. I didn't have time to go out. So I didn't go out a lot. And then when I did meet certain people in my life, some of them were cool and some of them just they weren't gonna make it. I know
Right.
they weren't. So I didn't. I don't know if was I really hurt by it or what. I don't know. I don't know the emotional part of it. I just knew certain things happened. I just don't remember why I picked that person. You know how you can go back in your mind and think, well, why did you pick that? I don't even know why I picked the people I did pick. Because it wasn't about trying to marry nobody. I know I wasn't ready to get married. I mean, I waited till I moved here to get married. I mean, everywhere else I wasn't interested in really because I enjoyed just me and Tavares. I enjoyed not having to deal with all the extra crap because I was going through enough, and at the same time, I hadn't been diagnosed with PTSD yet. First and
Mm,
foremost, so all these little things that were going on had a lot to do with my illness, my mental, because PTSD is mental, my mental illness. So I didn't really pay too much attention to everything because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with me. And I didn't find out till later on
right.
what was wrong. So I had these drops of people in my life, males that came in my life, but it wasn't anything permanent. And it didn't really, like I said, 3 years usually been the max I would be with a guy. After 3 years, he got to go. Up until I met 3 years was my max. Every guy that I dated at when I got out the military was 3 years, and
Okay.
that wasn't nobody I was with all the time. It's just 3 years. You got to go. I'm done. I don't know what this year was, but I guess that never really gives you a chance to understand the whole dynamic of the relationship because you didn't have it. You didn't even want it to last long. So
Right.
but yeah, so that wasn't the big thing. I think my thing was I just wanted to make sure that my son, um, we kept a roof. I kept a roof over his head. I wasn't good with money. Never been real good with money because shit, my mom wasn't good with money. So having a, yeah, it was good to have a bank account, but hey, it was overdrawn half the time because
Right.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was a grown woman and didn't know what the hell I was doing. All I know was I had to pay bills. I don't know how I was going to do it, but I had to pay bills and keep food in the house. A lot of times I didn't have food stamps and welfare, so a lot of that I had to do it myself. So I had to figure out how money go here, pay that bill. The utility got to be. You got to know that you got to pay all your bills on that check that you get every 2 weeks, and that's how you. And that's survival. That's what we did, and we survived through everything. Black women, I don't care what nobody say about a black woman. A black woman gonna make it happen. Either if she got to do it by herself or she got to get a team of people together.
And you
She
know
gonna
what
make it
else?
happen. Mhm.
The some of us, I don't know, well, I could say some, but me personally,
Uh-huh.
when I got paid every 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
nobody would know after I had paid everything that I had to pay, nobody would know because I wouldn't tell them that I was broke. So I was
Yes, that's
working,
right.
living from paycheck to paycheck, paying bills.
Right.
And this Negro got me in debt and stuff. So I'm trying to consolidate this. And I never told anybody that once I got paid every 2 weeks, it wasn't enough to buy groceries, but we had stuff here.
Yeah.
They never knew, my kids never knew that I was broke. Nobody never knew because I never
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah, exactly. You kept all that. And just imagine you bottling all that inside, not
Mm,
having a support system. And that's another thing we talked about. And not having that support system in place so that, if there was a need for you to get it from somebody, somebody could help you. You know, um, I was fortunate in some places I lived with, I had military friends, especially when I was in Tennessee, because we were at Fort Campbell together. And when I moved back to Tennessee, I had a little support. I didn't bother her that much. I literally told her, I predicted a lot of stuff that was happening in my life, and I could tell her prior to it happening. And so I tried not to bother her as much, but she was my rock. She was that backup when I needed it, when she was available to do it. Because I think she was still in the military at the time, and I had already gotten out. And she had been through some stuff. And when you have a friend that's been through some stuff, and you were right in the middle of what she's been through, um, that bond is there. So
right.
she would help if she could. I never really try to make sure I asked her, oh, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Because a lot of times she didn't even know either when I didn't have. I didn't make it a big deal. Like you say, you keep a lot of things to yourself. But in the
Hmm.
military, you learn to have a bond with certain people. And that person, hey, I'm here for you. I can't believe, like, if I needed something and I didn't tell her and I told her afterwards, after I got it, she would cuss me out. Get mad at me. I'm right here. I'm right here. Why didn't you ask me? And it makes me feel bad. But I told, I got to do this. I got to do this on my own. But it was an embarrassment for me because I've always taken care of me and my son. So even when the dad was in the picture, like semi in the picture, because he was still in communication with Tavares and all that. I never stopped him from seeing his son, not one time. Tavares has even stayed with his step. I've never said no, you can't have him. Da 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 da. I never did all that. I wanted him to be part of his life, but I still wasn't the type of person to be okay. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? Can you no? Because there was a lot of times nobody knew I didn't have anything because I just didn't. I even tell my mom I didn't bother anybody with certain situations. If I needed it real bad, I kind of put my guard down and say, okay, I'm going to ask.
Right.
But most of the time, it takes a lot because we were taught not to ask. We were taught to be the strong one when reality is we're not. And that's why I think this is a product of what we have now is women that say, no, if I'm a struggle, I ain't struggling with no man. I'm a struggle by myself. I'm a
Right.
hustle by myself. Like somebody said, that struggle love don't work these days. Prices are too high. We're not struggling like that. That struggle love don't work. If I'm a struggle, I can be by myself and struggle. I don't need nobody with me. Mm-mm. Look,
Uh,
that's an extra mouth.
exactly.
No.
Exactly. I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't even tell my mom. And my mom would
Mm-hmm.
show up with groceries. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, don't say a word. I'm like, yes, ma'am, I won't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How she knew, I have no idea.
Yeah, and we can sit here now. We're at this point in our lives where we can talk about this,
Yeah.
um, because there was a time when we couldn't, when this conversation could have never been had because we would be too embarrassed to talk about what we've been through. Um, but I'm not ashamed at all to say what me as a woman and as a black woman and growing up the way that I grew up and the things that I've done and the things that was done to me without my permission. I can say that now. I have the strength, the power, and the fortitude to say those things. Yeah, things were not perfect for me. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I grew up in the projects. I know what food stamps are. I know what welfare is. I know when my mom used to shoplift. I know that to put food on the table. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know all those things. Those are experiences we had because that's the lifestyle. Does that
Yep.
mean I grow up shoplifting? No. Does that mean that I'm a forever struggle in my life? I am in charge of my life. So
Right.
I have to make sure that I don't make those same decisions my mom made. That, I mean, it got her through, but it's a different time and place. You can't do those things anymore. You
Right.
know,
Mm.
um, and that makes us stronger, and that makes that we learn from our childhood. Not everything we've learned from our childhood, but a lot of things we have learned, and we didn't bring it into the world we live in now. Even when we talk about relationships, a lot of things women bring into. I know you know the song "Bag Lady" by Erica Badu, right?
Mm.
And
Yes,
how
ma'am.
she talks about carrying around all this extra baggage. We
Mm-hmm.
women do it all the time, and I vowed that I would not bring in my marriage all the crap that I went through in the relationships I got myself into, and I never did. And that's one thing we can honestly say in our relationship. None of that old stuff. Mm-mm.
Right.
I don't think it belongs there. And it takes a lot because people have issues with trust. And I know, much as I have been cheated on, I know I should have issues with trust, but I don't. It's not. It's not that it's not a priority or a big thing to me. It's just okay. I don't have that problem because that's not a problem in the marriage. Because see, you can create stuff in your marriage that's not fair. People don't
That's
want to say
true.
that, but they do, right?
That's right.
That's not fair. So why create a distrust if the distrust is not there? Oh, I saw you talking to that lady. Let me have your phone. I need to see what's on your phone. Yeah, I just don't understand off that conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I no, ain't you ain't going through my phone, and I'm not gonna go through your phone.
Yours.
That's
And the thing is, I can give my phone to my husband and he give me his phone. We don't do that. It's just it's I the phones have broken up and had people killed. That's what
mm-hmm.
people have to understand how serious these phones are. These
Right.
phones are so serious that people die over them. That's Now just think about it. A phone gets people killed.
Yep.
And again, all that distrust, and this is what I like to tell young ladies. This is what I like to tell you. If he already showed you signs that he's going to be abusive and mean and hateful during the dating scene, what made you think he was going to change when he put that ring on your finger?
That's true.
Because he already told you the red flags were already there. And I think we as women get the most craziest things and turn them into the norm of a relationship. It's not normal. It's not normal for him to cuss you out in front of people. It's not normal for him to jack on you. I'm not saying he's abusing you, but he's grabbing you and jacking on you and pulling on you and calling you out your name. That's not normal. That's not normal. But this is a
That's,
whole nother conversation we need to have. We need to have this conversation.
yeah.
We need to have this conversation. Because a lot of women are in their grave to this day because they took this stuff normal and it's not. Oh, he don't mean nothing by that. And you sitting up there with a big old puffy black eye.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm sorry. Let me get off my domestic violence soapbox because I'm an advocate for domestic violence. Big advocate. Okay, so I'm going to read the next. No, it's your turn. This is your turn. Friendships and emotional awareness. This is your turn.
Okay. Friendships play a crucial role in our emotional awareness, serving as mirrors that reflect our feelings and responses. When we
Mm-hmm.
engage with friends, we not only share experiences, but also learn to navigate our emotions more effectively. These relationships can highlight areas of emotional growth, prompting us to become more attuned to our feelings and feelings of others. As we build strong friendships, we foster an environment where emotional intelligence can flourish. Developing emotional awareness through friendships requires a commitment to active listening and empathy. When we truly listen to our friends, we validate their feelings and experience, which in turn encourage them to do the same for us. This reciprocal dynamic nurtures emotional intelligence as we learn to recognize and articulate our own emotions while being sensitive to others. Mindfulness practices can enhance this process, allowing us to be present and engaged during our interactions. Furthermore, friendships can provide a safe place for vulnerability. Sharing our thoughts and emotions can be daunting, yet, support of a friend can alleviate this fear. By discussing our challenges and triumphs, we not only strengthen our bonds, but also cultivate resilience. This environment of trust enables us to explore our emotional depths, fostering a deeper understanding of ourselves and our reactions to various situations. As we navigate life's ups and downs, the friendships we nurture can serve as invaluable resources for emotional support. They remind us that we are not alone in our struggles and that others can offer perspectives we might not have considered. Engaging in open dialogues about our feelings can lead to personal insights and help us develop coping strategies that enhance our emotional resilience. In conclusion, the interplay between friendships and emotional awareness is vital for personal growth. By investing in our relationships, we not only enhance our emotional intelligence, but also create a network of support that bolsters our resilience. As we cultivate these connections, we become more inept at managing our emotions, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and mindful life.
Wow. Okay. So, what do you think about that? Was that an eye opener for you? This chapter, kind of. How do you feel about that chapter?
It was because I I had a thought I had a friend since junior high. And I
You
think
had a what?
I thought I had a friend since junior
Okay.
high.
Yes.
And we kind of lost or got disconnected maybe in high school,
Okay.
maybe my senior year in high school. Because growing up, we did everything together.
Got
And I think I had talked about this before. This is the same person that married my second husband.
you. I
Yeah.
think we did talk briefly, just briefly
Yeah.
about
And
that.
we did. And I told you that I had turned around in church and told her I forgive her,
Yes, yes, yes,
that
yes.
same person.
I
But,
understand that. Okay.
you know, that's all in the past, but whatever. But
Hmm.
I do have a best friend. Actually, I have two.
Hmm.
And, your best friend tell you what you don't want to hear.
That's right. They do.
And and these two in my life, they tell me what I don't want to hear. And they'll look at me and, Linda, fix your face, fix your face. I'm like, okay, fix your face. But I appreciate them, doing that for me.
Hmm.
Um, whenever I'm feeling down or they text me or call me,
Hmm.
they know because it happened one day last week. My friend
Hmm.
said, "What's wrong?" And I had to tell her nothing was wrong. She said, you're lying, something is wrong." I said, "We'll talk." And we
Uh-huh.
did talk. I told her,
Uh-huh.
it's just like Monica, it's one of them days.
Yeah, yeah. And we're entitled to those days. We're entitled.
Exactly. So I appreciate those two.
Hmm.
um we got that connection when, it looked like you could just feel something is wrong when you're not there, and all of
Yes,
a sudden
yes,
they'll call or send you a text. Those are the two best friends that I have.
yeah, yeah. You have it like me. That's how it is with my friends. Both of my friends are like that. Um, me and Regina were like, she'll say, "I was just thinking about calling you," and I'll call her, or I'll do the same thing to her. I said, "You have been on my mind, but I haven't been able to stop and call you. I'm sorry." She said, "That's all right." And I said, and then you turn around and call. I said, "You make me sick." So we'll laugh and stuff. But we can go weeks at a time not talking to each other, and then we talk. Oh my God, we talk.
Yep.
We talk, and we talk for long periods of time. I'm like that with my oldest sister. and we start talking like I told her today. Because I know when we get on the phone, I said, Nita, I wind up talking to you 3 and 4 hours. It don't make no sense. I got things to do. So I said, if I don't call you again today, I will call you tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. Because I know when I get on the phone with her, I can't get nothing done. Don't be talking that long. So,
You
and
sound like my sister.
and then my other friend, will do the same thing. I was just thinking about you, and I call and check on her. One of my friends are like my one of my friends is married. The other one is not married. She's divorced, and she's been married twice, like you have. And it's I don't, and I worry about her, and the reason why I worry about her, because she spends a lot of time alone, like
Mm,
literally alone. And I'm saying that in the sense that I don't worry about her on a mental, but on the emotional, because sometimes being alone is all right, but not having that interaction with other people. And I tell her to like if her cousin calls and say, I want to go somewhere, and she'll say no. I said no, go, get out, meet people, do something. But she's comfortable like me, like we are. Like I'm not by myself because I got a whole husband, but majority of the time I'm in my world. This is my world, and he every now and then he'll come in the office and check on me or whatever. But majority of the time I'm in here. I'm in here doing my work. My world is in my head and in this room. So I'm fine. You don't have to ask. I'm good. Don't come in there. I'm good. I'm good. Other than the dog bothering us. But me and her, we talk a lot, and we talk about a lot of different things. And she helps me out just as much as I help her out. And my other friend helps me out. And then me and I talk to my sister, and we talk and we have those conversations. You have to. And Regina for sure. What's wrong? That's the first thing she say. What's wrong? She said, what's going on? And I'm like, why are you saying I say ain't nothing wrong with Gina? Yeah, it is. What's going on? And then she wound up telling me what's going on with her because it wasn't me. It was you. You didn't just know it was you at the situation, whatever it was. Because then she starts talking about what's going on with her. But yeah, it's friendships, relationships, all of it is work. And you got to put your feet in it, you got to put your head in it, you got to put your arms in, you got to put everything in it to make it work. You have to. And it's not that you have to have a lot of friends. I don't understand women who have a lot of friends. I don't
me
understand.
either. Me either.
I don't get that. I don't having 5 and 6 and 7 friends. I don't understand that. I mean, when I was younger, like when you were younger, that's the cool thing to do is have a whole bunch of girlfriends. But
Right.
when you get older, hmm, I don't know.
Associ- you get them in, they're associates to me.
Yeah, yeah, they become associates. Um, it was so funny. My girlfriend, and she was on Facebook. Her and her other girlfriend, um, Ron, which is her husband, took them out for dinner because they were celebrating their relationship, their friendship. So I guess she thought I was gonna feel bad about it. So she puts on there, and I said, "Oh my God, you guys look so cute, so beautiful, whatever." And she said, "Oops, oops." She said, "Selena, no, you're my other." I said, "You don't even have to say that. I know our relationship is a whole different ball game. So it ain't even about me. Because some friends be jealous of other friends. I'm not.
Ex-
No, you already know I'm not that. Okay, I've been your friend. We were at Fort Campbell together. You met this other lady afterwards, way after. Me and you've been friends since Fort Campbell days. Since your baby was a baby. Her oldest son was a baby when me and her became real good friends. Well, we were friends prior to that, but we got closer after she got married and had her baby. So I'm like, no, I don't even worry about that. I'm your friend, and that's all that matters. I don't get caught up on all that other
right.
dynamics of friendship because you can't. I mean, people come and go. People going to be your friends or they're not going to be your friends. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's
My
true.
other friend that I had, me and her, we're not close, but she was my friend from Panama, and we wound up at Fort Campbell together. And that's the one I told you that came to my rescue when I became homeless. And she's like, "Come on, come back to Tennessee, get back on your feet." Da 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 da. So um, that's my other friend. Me and her don't talk a lot, but we do talk every now and then.
Oh, okay.
She'll and but we used to be like this. We used to like her birthday is a day before my birthday, and her birthday is on the same day as my older sister's birthday. They were both born on February 15th. and I'm born on the 16th of February. So our doggone personalities are, ooh Lord, who they are so alike. So that's our relationship. Now I don't talk to her much, but the two friends that I do talk to all the time is both of them live in Texas. So when I be saying I'm going to Texas, I'm going to Texas to hang out with them. And then, oh boy lives in Texas. We go hang out with him
Okay.
and harass him. But yeah, that's our friendship. That's how my friendship is. And these people I've known, my friend and the other friend in Texas, I knew her from Peabody. I knew of her, but we weren't friends. But what was so weird, Linda, let me tell you how weird our relationship was. We wound up working. Okay, we went to Peabody together. I think she's younger than me. But I remember her playing baseball and basketball. Um, then I left and I came back here years later, and I wound up working at the charity hospital. And she worked at the charity hospital with me. That was weird. So then I left the charity hospital. I went over to the health unit, worked there, and then I wound up going into National Guard. Why we wind up in the same damn unit, in the same damn company at my National Guard unit?
Wow.
Walked in, I said, "Oh my God." She just laughed. I said, "Oh my God, no, not you." But we literally kind of followed each other in places, just like my sister that passed away. Same way with her. We followed each other. Wound up at the VA. She was at the VA way before I was. I wound up at the VA. And that wasn't no nepotism because I wasn't going to take the job at first. I knew it was nepotism. So we wind up at the VA, the same place. But it was so weird that me and her wind up in the same place. And then we finally, um, I left, I left National Guard and she came left after I did. Yeah, she left after I did. But the ideal is the dynamics of our friendship. How, and I say my life is a 360. That's what I always say that to myself, and I when I explain things that happen in my life, it's a 360. Everything that I've done was a whole big 360. I never thought I would come back to Louisiana because I'm not a Louisiana fan, but
I
I
hear.
wound up coming back, and I don't know if I would have never met my husband, I would have moved back to Tennessee. That's where I was headed. And he always say, "So I'm the reason why you stayed here." I said, "Unfortunately, I should have kept going. I should have picked that bag up after Tavares graduated from high school. I should have picked that bag up, put it in the back of the car, and left." I said no.
Oh,
But anyway, but yeah. So yeah, friendships are very important, and like we just said, as you get older, a lot of friends is not the answer.
right.
Yeah, because a lot of the things that you, what I realized too, a lot of women don't mature. They don't mature in the same way some women do.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not all right to go out and have a good time. I'm just saying you shouldn't be doing that every weekend.
That's true. I couldn't tell you the last time I went out to a club. And right now, I just don't want to deal with crowds, period.
Yes, I have issues with crowds. Yes, yes,
Too,
yes, yes.
too
I
much
don't
is
like
that.
crowds.
Because I
I
know it was about a couple of weeks ago, I was in Barksdale. I went to Barksdale for something.
uh huh,
And the black chick that was there, she
uh
said,
huh.
"Oh, are you going to see Lil Nathan?" I'm looking at her like, I don't know who the hell Lil Nathan is. And I don't do crowds. I said, "No,
Oh,
ma'am, I
oh,
don't know Lil Nathan, and I don't do crowds anymore. It's been years since I've been somewhere and it's been a crowd."
uh huh, uh huh.
Like, no.
I met the way I met little Nathan. I didn't meet him directly. I met his dad because his dad had a band too. His dad had his own Zydeco band. What happened was we went to the Crawfish Festival. We used to go to the Crawfish Festival all the time, and his dad was carrying around the time when CDs were still in play. And so we bought a CD, and so we were just standing up there talking to him and good, having a good old conversation about him. That's how I met little Nate. I mean, I met his father. Was to know who he was because he was playing. And the Crawfish Festival always get him every year. I don't know if they still do it, but every year you usually get little Nathan. And little Nathan in the Zydeco, what is it called? Little Nathan in the something Zydeco band. Because at first it was his dad, and at the time he was still in college. That's how old it is. He was still in college then, and I forgot what college he was going to, but he graduated already. And he's big right now. He's real big now. But yeah, that's who Little Nathan is. That's how I met him. We met him through his dad.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of those Zydeco bands is when we go to the Crawfish Festival or any type of festival that's going on. If we could go to one, we used to go to them festivals like nothing. I told you, but as we got older, crowds and people, I don't like that energy. My energy don't deal with a lot of energy no more like it used to.
Oh yeah,
I can't.
it's
Oh,
been some years since I been to the Crawfish Festival in Bro Bridge.
uh huh,
And
uh huh.
I hadn't been there in years. I hadn't been to the Pecan Festival in
Yeah,
years. So.
I used to do the pecan festival. I used to set up. I told you when I used to make pillows and blankets. I
Mm-hmm.
used to set up at the at the pecan festival. At the Natchitoches Christmas Festival, I used to set up there too.
Yeah, I
At the
used to go. Me and my son went to what is the Meat Pie Festival, and I
uh-huh.
think he was probably in junior high when we went. And then
Mhm.
it was we went up to Winsboro. They had the Catfish Festival. I'm
Oh
like,
Lord.
okay, this is pretty cool, and I hadn't been back to that since.
You know what I wanted to? You remember? I think we had this conversation. I said this summer. Well, that's not happening. This summer I wanted to check out the black farmers across Louisiana, which I haven't
Yeah, I
done yet.
remember that. I remember you talking about that.
I think, matter of fact, it's funny that my husband came in here the other day and said that to me. He said, "But baby, there's no farms near us." I said, "I know." I said, "I told you about it." I said, "They have a Black Farmers Index that you can look at where all the farms at." And he said, "All of them are too far away. They 2 and 3 hours ago." I said, "Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, they far away." I said, "Remember we were supposed to do that. We were supposed to visit. I wanted to, if he didn't want to go, it would have been somebody else, or I could go by myself." To a farm, and I
Yeah.
was gonna, set aside a certain amount of money, and then, this is what I'm gonna spend at this farm. This is what I'm gonna spend at this farm, because I know I probably couldn't do it all in one day. It would have because they're so far out. I think most of them are like in the Baton Rouge area, down in
Oh,
that area. We
okay.
might need to look into that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to do. Yeah.
It's nothing like
Okay.
fresh vegetables.
Yep. Fresh vegetables, fresh meat.
Yeah.
You if you eat meat. So yeah, that would be awesome to do if we could do that. So chapter 10, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because I didn't realize it was already after 9 o'clock. So chapter 10 is creating sustainable practice, setting goals for emotional growth. So we're almost done with this book. We got one more chapter. We might do 10 and 11 the next time together. We might just go ahead and knock them two out, and then
Okay.
I'll have your quiz ready for the whole book. I
Okay.
think about 50 or 60 questions. Y'all did good on the last one. So let me ask you something. Overall, I'm gonna ask you again. Ouch! I don't know why that hurt. Overall, what do you think about this class? How do you feel about this class? These
I have
classes we take.
learned a lot from this class, especially um, the communicating, the active listening, because I can pretend like I'm listening to you or
Yeah,
whatever, and I'm
yeah.
not. And the mindfulness, like I was telling you that I do the breathing and stuff like that, and the meditation. But I have learned, it's a lot with emotional intelligence.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
is a lot.
it is. And it's almost like you have to watch everything you do from here on
Right.
out. We talk about
Exactly.
it so much, like, oh man, did I just cuss him out? Look, did I just get mad at him for nothing? What, maybe I need to go say something to him to make sure I'm not trying to be, because you got constantly thinking, okay, am I using my emotional intelligence? But I am so sarcastic. Let me tell you something. I am so sarcastic with my husband. He can't help but I know I shouldn't have said nothing. That's what he'll say. I know I shouldn't have said nothing. Because I try to make things funny when they really probably not funny, but I need to do that just to keep me from going off. That's my emotional intelligence cue. Okay, you're gonna cuss them out. If you don't cuss them out, oh, let's make it funny. Let's make it funny. So I'll make it funny. I'll say something smart to make it, where it's more lighthearted than me being upset about it. But he'll say, "Oh no, I know I shouldn't have said nothing." And when he say that, he know I said something crazy to him already. But no, this is teaching. It is. It's a lot because the mindfulness of what you're saying to people is more mindful now because you got to pay
Exactly.
attention,
Exactly. I didn't know all of this was, you know,
even in existence.
yes, exactly. But I appreciate you. I'm glad you sent me the email asking me, did I want to, you know, be a part
Yeah,
of it? I really
yeah.
appreciate you.
And I enjoy you coming in, Miss Bell. I enjoy you, Latasha. Latasha probably upset because she probably couldn't get in tonight. I don't know if she could get in or not. But I sent everybody. I always send everybody. If I don't say hello, hi, I'm gonna send you that link so y'all know to come in.
Right.
But most of the time she'd be the first one in. So you know what you can tell her when we come back? Tell her I beat you to the class because you weren't there at first. And this is why I say, even if it's just one of y'all, I'm fine. I'm gonna still do it. We got our first Monday coming up of the month coming up. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm like this. I don't care who don't show up. I'm gonna still do it because I love doing it. And I love, like I said, eventually somebody's gonna hear that information and use
Right.
it. And that's all that matters to me.
That is
That's it.
true. Well, I appreciate it. I have enjoyed it and learned a lot and trying to work on myself with some
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said earlier when I went on my diatribe earlier about how I'm learning too in the same way. I can never be a person that sits up here and then I'm trying to tell y'all what to do. I can't do that. That don't work for me. I have to be as authentic as I can be. And if I argue, I have an argument with my husband. If I'm not going to sit here and say our relationship is this perfect relationship and oh my God, I love my husband and he means a lot to me and all. I'm not that type of person. I'm not. I'm not. Got to know every intimate thing that goes on in our house, but
Right.
I'm a normal things that happen in a relationship. It happens. It's supposed to happen. I mean, you can't, those things don't work where you have this perfect relationship. That doesn't work.
Exactly.
There's been some stuff. One thing I could truly say, it hasn't been cheating. Like you were saying earlier about communication.
Right.
Communication is a big thing. And lots of people are not taught to communicate. Like you were just saying. Remember you said the exact same thing. When you're not taught to communicate and know how to navigate through certain things, that's what you're going to be dealing with in a relationship.
Yep. That's true.
Communication breaks down.
That is
But
true.
it's a ride, and you're either going to stay on it or you're going to get off. And that's a choice. Now, when you get off, what you do is fine. If you want to stay on it, then you have to learn how to navigate and make it where it works for you. It doesn't always have to work for the other person. It needs to work for you too. You need to figure out where you fit in on this grand scheme of things and make your space in that relationship,
Right.
regardless. And we don't do that. We intertwine. Everything is intertwined. And so when everything's, you feel their feelings, they feel your feelings, and everybody, when he's angry, you're angry. When you're angry, he's angry. Nobody, there's no separation. And that's what hurts a lot of times with a relationship. There's no mindfulness. There's no zen time, no time when you get to yourself and do your breathing and you're doing your exercise and you're dealing with yourself. There's none of that because everything you do is together. I don't go anywhere without my husband. My husband is my best friend. I will never say that because my husband is not my best friend. Because my husband is, he could never be because he doesn't know what it is to be a woman. So I would never want a best friend man. I have friends that are men, and I have my husband who's my friend, but he's not my best friend. He's
Right.
all I need. No, baby. No, he's not all we need. Whatever concept that was that puts us in our mindset that our men is everything, that tells me a lot that you don't have a life of your own if he's
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Okay. All right. So we shall reconvene this class on Wednesday if you're available. Come
Okay.
back. We're going to probably do 10 and 11 together so we can move on to the next book.
That'll work.
All right. So you have a nice weekend. the
You
rest
too.
of it. Did you have a good Juneteenth?
That was yesterday.
Yes.
No, I stayed at the house. I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything either. I didn't do nothing special at all. I didn't. I just hung around. You know what I didn't do today, Miss Bell?
Didn't
Now
go
I got
vote.
27th. I didn't go vote.
Yeah, I
The
did
early-
that.
I saw you did. I seen it after the fact that you went for it. Like, damn, I know it's something I forgot to do. Um, but yeah, so we'll do it on the 27th. We already had made the decision that we'll do it next week. It's next week, right? Anyway,
Hmm. On the 20th, next Saturday. Yeah,
next Saturday. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I'll most sure, I know right up here at the Labousse library. We'll go vote there.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a nice evening. I shall talk to you later. Take care.
You
Um,
too. And thank you so much.
anytime, sweetie. Anytime, Miss Bell. That's what I'm here for. Okay.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye bye, baby.
Bye bye.
I got to do